What's up guys, it's your boy Ravenclaw here, back with another guide, and in this guide we're going to go over hunters in PVE. So what talents to take, what stats we need to stack, and all that other cool stuff. This is probably more focused towards people maybe that have hit 110, not just 100, 110. We're going to go over you know, stats, talents. Don't really need to go over the spells because I've got other guides up for that. And we'll go over the artifact talent tree and all that. So enough talking. How about we get into it? Okay. So as far as stats go, what I've gone with now, it is, I probably would say this is objective here. Like obviously the first one being agility. We need, obviously agility is our main. The next one would be, I would say mastery, obviously. So we go agility, mastery. Here I've gone critical strike, then haste. But some people will say haste, then critical strike. This is what I've done. If you find that haste is, haste is good for your, reducing the global cooldown, regenerating your focus and things like that. So I would probably say I need to stack a bit more haste just to get it up. I want to get it up around, say, maybe 17, 20%. And yeah, boost up my mastery. I'm only at 851. I haven't really been doing too many bits and pieces lately. But yeah, that's what I would go with. So haste, and once again, agility, mastery, critical strike, haste, or haste, critical strike, and then obviously versatility where you can get it. Okay, so moving on to the talents. Now, I've got these set for PvP, but what I would normally go with in, say, like dungeons and raids and stuff, I would go with, say, I normally switch out, it's either Dire Stables or Way of the Cobra, but I do Dire Stables to regenerate that focus. You get your Dire Beast out, as much as you can, get that focus rolling. That way you can do your multi-shots if you're in AoE. You can get, more focus, more multi-shots, more Bestial Cleave, more AoE. Yeah, you get the idea. Big Game Hunter, it's okay. Like, for example, in boss fights, if they're over 80% health, you can do a bit more damage, but it sort of becomes obsolete once they drop below that. So I kind of stick with these two. Next one, Stomp is the one I go for. It just, I don't know, I find it way more useful. It does quite a bit of damage, especially the AoE damage. You can't go past that AoE damage. That's the one I go with. The tier 40, the tier 3 talents, I just go with post haste. It's just great for getting out of the snares and just give you that extra speed boost to get around dungeons and stuff a bit faster. The tier 4, some people will say go blink strikes. I go with Bestial Wrath because it stacks well with your artifact talents and stuff like that. I mean, if you're finding that, I don't know, you're more pet focused, you can go blink strikes, but I stick with Bestial Fury. It's just a great way for, especially on boss fights, even through mobs. You get your Bestial Wrath to do a little bit more extra damage. It just, yeah, that's what I go with anyway. Okay, going on to level 75 talents. This is subjective. It depends on what you're really doing. I usually go with Binding Shot, more for the AoE control. Especially if there's big mobs there, they're sort of trying to get scared. You can drop that down when the tank pulls them together, just to stop them from spreading out and lets the tank get, a bit more control over that, over the mobs. You can go Intimidation if you're sort of trying to get down a single target. But this is the one I go with. I go with Binding Shots. Okay. Level 90. A lot of people will say, one's better than the other. Obviously, Barrage, great for your AoE fights. I tend to go with Murder of Crows more than anything else. Just for your boss fights. Does a crap ton of damage. And even so, you can also spread this out when you're doing AoE. Like, if you've got a bunch of mobs there, you put it on one, and when that drops, you just keep spreading it around as you're doing everything else. So your AoE damage as a beast mastery hunter is already crazy enough. So I stick with this for that extra damage on single targets. And coming in last here, this is obviously, I've got this for PvP, but I normally go with Stampede. Stampede does an absolute baller amount of damage, especially, say for example, there's a massive for some reason someone's pulled a whole bunch of mobs and you just need to get as much damage on as you can before everyone dies, you can use Stampede on that, but it does a killer amount of damage on your boss fights. So this is what I like to do. Now, remember, as I always say, this is not everything you must do. This is the law. If you go against it, your bow will break. You know what I mean? This is the way I do it. Feel free to let me know if you have messed around with some other sort of bits and pieces. I'd love to hear it. So, yeah, I say with that being said, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so here we are at the artifact side of things. Now, I'm going to try and do this a little bit different. Don't worry about what I've got here, because I think I went a bit iffy to the way I wanted to go. Yeah, with this sort of connection here and that. And anyway, so what I might do is I'm going to link it. I'm going to do some, hopefully I'll do some cool post editing and do some, directions and stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off with, you start off with obviously Hattie's Bond, okay? Then this is the first way to go. Now, the best way I've found, especially on my other hunters, I found that if you go down here first, come up, get your Focus of the Titans, which obviously increases the multi-strike, once again, AoE damage. Come up through here to get Mimron's Shell, great for survivability. Then you go to the Jaws of Thunder, and then from here you want to get to this one first. This is huge. That means Hattie becomes affected by Bestial Wrath and Bestial Cleave. Massive, massive for those, and Kill Command. Massive for those fights. It's a huge DPS increase. Alright, so from there, you want to proceed up to Furious Swipes. Also, again, your Bestial Cleave, more AoE damage. Coming up to your Unleash the Beast. And then you want to go into here. When you use Multi-Shot, has a chance to discharge an electric current. You can see how much AoE damage Beastmasters do. It's intense. Alright, so from there, you want to proceed onto Pathfinder, then onto Pack Leader. Now, you can see that I've got this. This is basically just things that I've picked up along the way. But it does help. I think I may change this out, although I do like it for PvP. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Okay, so once you get down here, you want to get into Wilderness Expert. Increases the duration of your Aspect of the Wild. Even though it can go up to 3 seconds, if you obviously relic it and go even longer, it's great for that extra burst. And then you want to come down to here to Titan's Thunder. After you do that, then you can come back down here and then pack it into these 3 here. That's the way I've been looking at it lately and seeing that, just working on my other hunters and doing different bits and pieces, I found that was probably the most effective way to go as far as artifact power, is on, because it's insane. Like, artifact power for the next one is like 30,000, and even though you do get your artifact knowledge boost multipliers, still a crap ton of artifact power. But yeah, anyway, that's where I go with that. But we could probably move on to the next part. Okay, guys and girls, here we are at the rotation. This rotation is what I do in. Oh, we may as well get ourselves out a pet. Now, about pets, if you guys, I know probably you'll ask me about what pets I should take. I do have a guide. It's not so much a guide. I do have a PVE pet. Okay, guide. I don't know, top 10 or 5, or I don't know. Anyway, it's up in the corner there. Okay, click that. What the hell am I doing? All right. So now where are we? Okay, so as far as the rotation goes, the main things we want to focus on are Kill Command and Dire Beast. Now, this is for single target, and so what you want to do, let's say you're coming up to the boss. Before we do that, let me just show you. Let's go to macros. I'll just show you what I've got here. It's nothing. I haven't done very many macros for Legion as it is, but what I do use is I've just simply, you can copy this if you like, or I might even put it in the description. This just stacks a whole bunch of stuff together, so you can just simply, go to town. You've got Murder of Crows, Bestial Wrath, Aspect of the Wild. If you're an orc, then you want to put your racial in there as well. But I simply just, and use, if you have an on-use trinket, which this is the only one I've got at the moment, You can see that I used, down here, use 13. That'll use whatever's in that slot there. So I thought I'd better get that out of the way first so I can show you what I'm doing. So, like I said, priorities are kill command, die beast. So if we pop that macro, kill command, die beast, then you want to go with Cobra Shot, die beast, Cobra Shot. And if you've got Stampede, you want to drop them puppies down too. After you've popped everything, of course. Now, you just go to town. It's basically rinse and repeat. Like, I'm not going to lie. Beast Mastery is pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing much to it. Now, let's just call these puppies back. Alright, for a second there, I thought I took that other one. But that's in PvP. Alright. Now, we've gotten the single target out of the way. Very straightforward. Hopefully I'll have put up a sort of a DPS priority rotation thingy in the corner. I'm talking to my future self when I go to the editing stage. You guys that have followed me so far, you know that I love to talk to myself. Anyway, for AoE, you want to focus on your Bestial Cleave. That Beast Cleave does a crap ton of damage. Now, what I like to do, let's say we're going up between bosses and there's a big bunch of mobs. I'll go, a Bestial Wrath. Make sure you do Bestial Cleave as a multi-shot. Then just multi-shot to get that Bestial Cleave going. And as you can see, with Dire Stables, you can just keep getting off that that multi-shot. By the time it comes down again, you can keep going. Now, here's the thing. What happened just there? I want to talk about what just happened there with that Dire Beast. Alright, so I dropped that Dire Beast down. Stop shooting. And it landed here instead of on the target. Now, I have been asked about that before, and that comes from a pathing issue. So what that means is, let's say between here and that target dummy. Oh, sorry about that. That was bound to happen. Anyway, so between here and the training dummy, if they're, for example, within this, so obviously the floor is, it could be a gap between the models, so the terrain, and the what I'm trying to get at is the like from when you drop Dire Beast, right? See how it standard there? It stood, not standard. It stood there instead of being on my target. Now that's basically because it didn't find a path between me and its endpoint. That is a bug at the moment, and I know people have told Blizzard about it, and I think they are working on it. Get back here, you stupid dragon. Dinosaur. Whatever. So just be mindful of that. If you're finding that it's happening quite a lot, like I'm probably going to find if I go over here and go to this one, you'll notice that it dropped it on the target, because I notice, especially being having worked with the Blizzard models and terrains and stuff like that, I know that they segment their world. So that's one of the main issues that a lot of people have been finding with Dire Beast, especially in PvP. I've had it so many times in arenas too that it'll just drop and not go where I want it. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. Yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to the guide, my friends. If whoa, that was well timed. Let's turn around, shall we? So if you guys have, another way of doing it, or you find that, this rotation works better than this rotation, link it down in the guide. I would love down in the guide. Oh my god, what's going on? Down in the comments, because I'd love to see it. I'd love to network with other hunters. It's the best way that everyone else can, get the most out of these guides. If we all chat in the comments and let other people know. If you do like these guides that I'm doing, please hit that like button. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's going outside. If you do like my guides, make sure you hit that like button. It really does show me that you guys are still interested and I'm not doing too badly of a job. Yeah. And as always, if you're new to the channel, take a lap around the channel, see what I've posted up. If you like what you see, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I'd really love to have you guys on board. And as always, my awesome hunters and anyone else who is out there watching, you keep on sniping, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.